So how about my verified 2.8 million follower Facebook account got hacked and I didn't know till about 3 months later. So let's talk about it. So it wasn't until I had a friend of mine send me a screenshot of some of the images that they were seeing posting on my timeline. And they said, you know, this doesn't look like your type of images that you usually post. So I'm like, what is going on? So I go and look, and sure enough, I find them hidden from my timeline, but posted in my photos, that there is a certain person posting under my account. So I'm very tech savvy, and for one, I mean, I kind of know Business Manager like the back of my hand. So I go looking through the settings and I couldn't really find anything. So I go and start contacting customer service and saying that, oh, my Facebook page is hacked, and they said, we can't find anything. You know, your page is fine. So I'm like, all right. So what I start doing is deleting the posts that the hackers started posting on my page, and that pissed them off. Follow me. So once I pissed the hackers off, they sent me a note on my actual Facebook page saying that if I continued to delete their stuff, they would send my page back to 2011. 2011 is when I made my page. 2012 or 13 is when I actually got verified and all of my posts and everything started taking off. So they basically were threatening to delete my legacy on Facebook. So with that being said, that's my door. I didn't really care. I just wanted the sexual innuendo off of my timeline, off of my story. So I just kept flooding my own timeline and stories with warnings to people not to click the post, that I'm hacked and I'm working on it. So, you know, they were pissed, and so they decided to take things in their own hand, and they actually started deleting all of my content. Okay, you know, it sucked, but I'm moving as fast as I can to try and figure this out, and Facebook could not figure out why. I actually went through 8 chats within like a 2-3 week period to try and get this fixed, and we didn't get anywhere until about a few days ago, where I spent 3 hours on a call, and I got somewhere where I found where they were at. Stay with me. So getting Meta to spend 3 hours with me on this call was not an easy feat, but I'm not going to lie when I say I cried when I begged them to stay on the call with me and not try to update me via chat, because every time that happened, they didn't find anything. So convincing the support agent to stay on the line with me, it was literally at the end of those 3 hours that we found where they were. They were inside some duplicate pages that they had made on my account where I was admin, and they had sent themselves an invite and made themselves admin too. So when I deleted these pages, I didn't know that it didn't revoke any access to whoever had admin access in there. And that's where they were hiding, in the trash. So yeah, I'm going to leave detailed instructions on how I found them. And if you ever find yourself in that situation, you can try and get yourself out of that too. But my experience with this was it was unexpected. So at first, when I realized I was hacked, I was like, it's no big deal. I'm gonna figure it out. Facebook support is going to help me. And the more and more I had to contact Facebook support to try and get somewhere, the more I realized these hackers may just have my page for good. Oh my goodness. So I wasn't going to just give up my page because it had 2.8 million followers and is verified. So I tried to delete my page, and I couldn't delete the page without the hacker's permission. This was pissing me off. So it was basically meaning that I would have to coexist with my hackers even if I never used that page again. And I wasn't having it. So what I thought I was going to be nonchalant about, I actually became invested, because I don't like having things taken from me. I don't like not having options. I don't like being taunted. And I'm tech savvy, so I figured I was going to figure this out. But to anybody who has a regular day job, like I work from home, I'm able to make my own hours, I don't think they would have been able to go through this or have the patience, because it took me weeks and I was on it every day, like spending hours. And it really became ridiculous. So A few of the lessons I learned from this whole experience was when you get an alert saying that there's a data leak, go in and change your password, especially if you own a business or you manage other businesses through Facebook or anything like that. It's really, really important. Secondly, I wouldn't suggest reusing the same password that you use for one major platform for another. How they got into my account is that I had the same password for my Instagram that I had for my Facebook. That was my mistake. That's how they were able to two-factor in or bypass having to use the Google Authenticator app or anything like that. So even though this whole situation was really traumatizing, I learned a lot and I'm able to pass it off to my clients, and I'm going to share the experience. One tip I do suggest using if you ever end up in a situation where you're battling, admin access, or you have an issue with a hacker, screen record your issue. Do not delete anything that they post, so that way you have a digital trail of what is going on. And to make sure that in all of this, you keep your cool and use ChatGPT. What I realized what I was doing with the first few chats that I opened was complaining and ranting more than actually giving facts. And once I realized I wasn't getting anywhere and that these agents were actually reading off of a script and could only do but so much, I had to get really proficient with what I was trying to say and be on top of it. So I left my ranting to be inside of ChatGPT and allowed them to summarize my rant into actual things that were happening to me, and it allowed me to communicate so much better. So I would definitely suggest whenever you're going to be chatting with Facebook or Meta, they use chat box, they use AI. So AI can recognize AI, and the more clear you are with your message and what the problem is, then the better it'll be with getting your problem resolved, and the quicker it'll be. So yeah, if you're interested in figuring out step by step where I clicked through to find out if there were any unauthorized admins or anything like that, I am going to leave a detailed caption because I want everybody to know what it is that they can do. I don't feel like the average Joe would know how to work the settings or what Business Manager looks like from the perspective of, like I said, an average Joe. But I've been using Facebook for so long and been playing with their settings, I knew where to go. And the average person wouldn't have been able to navigate the settings like that, even with customer support. So I was already proficient in Facebook's technology, so that definitely helped me. And I can see why people who don't really use their Facebook like that would just give up, because it took a lot of hard work. But I want to make it easier for people. So I'm going to take what I learned and what I fed into ChatGPT and have them write me a blog, and I'm going to put it everywhere, and hopefully it reaches the right audience, because oh my God, these crabs are so good. Because it rocked my world, but I was able to reset. And even though they deleted all my pictures, I'm grateful that they weren't able to hijack my page and deplete it down to nothing. And even though I lost some of my monetization status, I'm able to work for that back. So I learned a lesson. Change those passwords, okay? And use ChatGPT, because it definitely can help.